All right, all right. Listen, welcome to Balcony Talk with the Nelsons, the Love and Truth podcast, where real, honest, and meaningful conversations thrive. I'm James Nelson, joined by my beautiful wife,
Lanae,
and our vision is simple yet powerful.
to provide a safe space for couples to explore the depths of love and truth.
Here, guilt, condemnation, and anger have no place as we explore the intricacies of relationships with authenticity and respect.
Join us on this journey of connection, understanding, and genuine dialogue.
All right, let's go.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
I'm far away from you
I
today.
know we kind of stretched out over it. That's a long.
That's why I have long arms.
Long arms.
Yeah.
So man, episode number 4.
Yeah.
Balcony Talk with the Nelsons, the Love and Truth podcast. I gotta tell you, I'm having fun every week.
I am too.
It continues to grow. But before we jump into that, we always got to do our check-in.
Yes.
So, how are you doing? How was your week?
My week was excellent. I've had the opportunity to really dive in and get information concerning our podcast and being a content creator, and it's been fun because I love learning new things. So it's been an amazing week.
Yeah.
But how about your week?
It's been good. I want to say this because last week I talked about how proud I was of you, just because of all the work and effort that you're putting in, just leaning into it. And so, listen, when you have a partner and listen, you're building something. I think I referenced that before.
You did.
Just wanting to build with someone, and you see that, both parties are putting in effort and building together. We're going to look back a year from now, and we're going to look back on what we've done, what we've accomplished, and what we've built. And that's exciting to me. But at the same time, being in the moment.
Yes.
Right? Not going too far out in the future and staying there.
Right.
But being in the moment and going through the journey and learning all of the lessons, not taking any L's, but just learning lessons. And the great partnership here at the studios, One Marriage, Two Hustlers. I mean, they're definitely setting us up for success. So shout out to Lloyd and Courtney here. So, but my week, good week.
Okay.
Still on that corporate grind. You know how passionate I am about leadership and developing leaders.
Yep.
It's a weekly thing for me, imparting into my team, driving results. Won't say the name, but one of our largest clients had a meeting this past week, and just a lot of positive affirmation of all the efforts and all of the leadership that we're doing.
Okay.
And just, me personally, what I'm contributing. So it was a good week. Good week.
Okay. Well, that's great. So, I want to ask you about last week's episode, and it was actually episode 3.
Okay.
Why marry now, and how long should you date? What did you take away from last week's episode?
That was listen, if you haven't listened to it yet, because you can't, because it hasn't aired yet. It airs next Tuesday at 6 p.m. So you can find all of our newest episodes. They air every Tuesday at 6 p.m. But you can also go visit our channel and listen to the prior episodes and just some of the takes and just some of the videos that we've uploaded. So you can really get a glimpse into, Balcony Talk. But last week's episode, it was good because we started talking about, the marrying, how long you should date.
Right.
And I think what kicked it off was a video we looked at where this one guy proposed after 10 years of dating, and they were in the car, and she was like, I don't want that.
She was not accepting.
She wasn't really accepting because number one, you took 10 years to do it, and you did it in the car and didn't put any thought into it.
None.
So we decided to have the episode. But in the episode, we just kind of broke down the different age groups. Right? Like less than 30, what are the priorities and what are, some of the dating parameters that are set, and then 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and then 50 and above. And one of the big takeaways was that as you age or as you get older and you move into these different age groups, your priorities shift.
Right.
and that dating window tightens up.
It does.
And so just exploring, what happens at those different age groups. I thought it was interesting conversation. Y'all should check it out.
Okay. All right.
What about you?
So what I took away is oftentimes, depending on the age, and let's just say that 30 mark,
Mhm.
women sometimes want to hurry and have a baby sometimes, and men sometimes are like, let's travel, let's do some things before we do that. So the closer that it gets to women going to that 40 mark, they are like, let's hurry up and get pregnant
What we
because
doing?
our eggs have an expiration date.
Right.
And so that was a key takeaway, because sometimes men are like, why are we rushing to do that? And, I would hope that the woman is explaining, because I got an expiration date on these eggs. But
Yeah.
you want to really go through a process of all of the, marriage, just having a good time together first, and then introducing that next part of the family. So that was
Yeah.
my takeaway.
No, good. Definitely when it drops 6 o'clock Tuesday, you guys should check it out. It's a great
Yeah,
episode.
it is. It is.
So this week,
This week.
before we do that,
Okay.
I wanted to. We talked about this earlier, but I wanted to do this because just going back to balcony talk
Oh,
for a
yes.
minute,
Let them
right?
know
Just
what it
going back,
really is.
what balcony talk is, and we
Yes.
shared this in episode number 1
Mm-hmm.
about balcony talk. But I want to remind the new listeners, new subscribers, and oh, by the way, we're up to 57 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
Exciting.
We just launched about 3 weeks ago.
Exciting.
So exciting. Thank you to all of those that have
Yes.
subscribed and are providing
Thank
feedback,
you.
encouraging us throughout this process,
Mm-hmm.
talking about just some of the subjects that we've engaged in, and just watching our journey being on full display,
Right.
our relationship and what we've done, which is why I wanted to go back to this point
Mm-hmm.
around balcony talk. And balcony talk is really a metaphor for creating a safe space
Mm-hmm.
for you and your significant other to communicate.
Right.
For us, it was on the balcony, hence balcony talk. During COVID, when we couldn't do anything but be together, we would go out on the balcony and have real conversations. And what we agreed to was that when we're on the balcony and we're creating this safe space,
Mm-hmm.
this no war zone, this truth
Mm-hmm.
space, we said that this is a place where we can just be open and honest about whatever subject we decide to talk about.
Right.
It's a place where you could ask questions and I can give answers honestly and
Truthful.
openly, because oftentimes men are concerned about not hurting the other's feelings.
Right.
And so they don't give the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Right.
And they don't feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
or safe because
Mm-hmm.
that space has not been created by both parties to share.
Right.
So for us, the balcony was a safe space for us to go out and have conversations and talk. And whatever that truth was, whatever we discussed, whatever came out of that conversation, when we walked off the balcony back into our place,
Right.
we can't go in there and harbor any, heart. Now, that's not to say you won't feel a certain type of way about what was shared, but it is to say that we're not going to let that take us anywhere or derail where we're trying to go. So
Mm-hmm.
what are your, I just want to share that with the people. Find your balcony talk place.
Yes.
It could be your patio. It could be in the living room. It could be at a coffee shop.
Yes.
It could be in your bedroom. Wherever it is that you two agree that, hey, let's go out and have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a safe space.
Yes.
If you got questions, I've got answers, and vice versa. So
Okay.
I just wanted to give a little bit more context on what balcony talk is really about and what we're endeavoring to do for couples.
I think that was important for you to share, because oftentimes people may be looking and saying, why do they say balcony talk and they're not on a balcony?
Right.
So I think that was good. And
Okay.
I don't have anything to say. I think that you did a great job of explaining that so people understand.
Okay. And we were just on the balcony last night, as a matter of fact,
We were.
talking.
Had a great time.
Had a great conversation. So try it. But go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. Well, I guess let's shift into I think that our last episode, why marry now and how long should you date, rolls into our topic today, which
Yep.
is why won't he wife you?
Mm.
That's a ouch subject for
Yeah.
a lot of women because there's a possibility they think that they're doing everything right,
Yeah.
which leads into the question, how did things start?
Yeah. That's a really big question.
Yeah.
How did this relationship start?
Can I go into this really quick
Yeah,
first?
go ahead.
Oftentimes, women think that men want sex. So that's what they lead with and open up with. Okay. And I'm starting there because women connect with love oftentimes, or that you like them
Mhm.
with the possibility of, well, let me have sex with him, as if that's the end all be all. And after I do that, I got the guy. Has never been true and will never be true.
Yeah.
Okay. So how soon did you
Give it up.
yeah, how soon?
Yeah, and so and the reality is that a lot of times men do want sex,
Yeah, they do.
but
However,
equating that to being wifey material is not,
ouch.
you know what I mean?
Correct.
It's not a direct correlation. That's not a gateway to marriage,
Right.
having sex early, because quite frankly, oftentimes that sends another message. So when we talk about, how quickly did we engage,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe there was mad chemistry, maybe there was, mad energy, and you was feeling him and he was feeling you, and then, you know, it happens.
It does.
It happens, and you get that one night stand, a first night stand, a second night stand, or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Steve Harvey had the book, act was it Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman, and he talks about that period of time that you need to wait before having sex, because it can cloud the judgment
Correct.
and expectations and decisions.
Yes.
Whereas a man they can do that, and then it'd be like that's all it was.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a woman, more often than not, it's kind of changing nowadays though.
Oh,
but
it
more
is.
but more often than not, there's a connection
Mm-hmm.
that's being made when they do that. So
Right.
I think the expectations that are set up front, like what are we doing,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The man is going to respect or not respect the long-term potential based upon how things start off in many cases.
Right. Right. Well, having said that, what expectations were set and what were the intentions?
That's listen, that is conversation. Like people should talk about that.
Right.
Like, what does this mean? Okay, so we hooked up.
Mm-hmm.
What do we? Let's go back to what we talked about last week.
Okay.
Like, you're less than 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That's different, in my opinion, hooking up and you're in your 20s with someone, because it's kind of, do you have long-term expectations at that point? Maybe, maybe not. But I tell you what, if you're 40 and 50 years old and you're hooking up with somebody, oh, you definitely should be having some conversations before you engage in,
Yeah. And the intention should
the
be
intentions.
set. Like, hey, I'm looking to marry.
Yes.
We're going to date a short period of time. That, like, all of that needs to be said when you are of age. And of age, we're talking about even 45 and above, honestly.
Yeah. But here's a challenge though. If I if the one if and I'm just saying, just societal today, right?
Okay.
Here's a
Okay.
challenge,
Mm-hmm.
especially for women in terms of the competition of women and the ratios of men to women.
Right.
The unfortunate thing is that there's not as many solid dudes out there,
Okay.
right, for a variety of reasons,
Mm.
right? Either they, you know, married, gay, incarcerated,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the issue is.
Right.
There's more, and it's just natural. There's more women than men.
Well,
Just
that's interesting what you're saying. And I'm looking at you like, because I've been hearing like word on the street is there are no quality women. As a matter of fact, one of Bridget, Priscilla, and I, owner of Crave Fusion Cocktail and Bistro, we do a live together every Tuesday on Facebook.
mhm.
And she has a friend named Eddie. Eddie
Let's not name
said he
names.
can't. Well, I mean, they don't know the last name,
But
but
okay.
okay. But he
Has a
said
friend.
okay, but and it's not bad. He just said he can't find a quality woman.
Right.
That's all he's saying.
Okay.
I don't think that that's bad to say. That's his truth, and that's he's
Okay.
standing
No,
on it.
no.
So I don't name drop. If it was something personal, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have said it. But so men, and not just him, but other men are saying there are no quality women
And why are they saying that?
because women are listening to, and I would just gather social media because so much is being pumped
Mm-hmm.
into them, and they are adopting those behaviors of other women. No, well, if you're going to be with me, you need to pay all of this. This all these stipulations.
So I think the issue is the question becomes define what quality means.
Okay.
If someone is saying that
Hmm.
a woman is not quality because she has expectations, well, I don't think that's true.
Okay.
The case, right?
Right. Okay.
So the question it becomes in the very beginning: expectations, boundaries, values that are set,
Okay.
and do people have a real, solid definition of what quality means? And guess what? Quality may be different because maybe your level of quality
Yes.
is not at the same level as someone else,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's different quality levels of vodka. Um,
You're right
and
about
you got
that.
premium and you got, what is
Is it the house or the
house?
house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's different levels and qualities,
Mm-hmm.
right? Still the same. Go ahead.
So I'm big on like words, and I just want to read the definition of
Mhm.
quality. Quality, the standard
Mhm.
of something as measured against other things of a similar kind.
Mhm.
The degree of excellence of something. An improvement in product quality.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's all subjective,
It
right?
is. It is
'Cause
subject. It
that's
is
different
subjective.
levels of quality.
Yeah, I get it.
So I think going back to like, are there quality women? And well, I'm sure women will say, are there quality men?
Yes, we are saying that,
So
obviously.
so again, the question becomes define what quality is, which goes back to what boundaries have you set
Yes.
for you?
Right.
And it is your um, definition of what your expectations,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's okay that you set those boundaries
Okay.
and you have your set of core values of what
Mm-hmm.
you're willing to accept and not accept,
Right.
and what you're willing to put up with and not put up with.
So question. I just tell me what you think about this. Are people actually doing this? Because what we started with is a lot of women lead with being sexually. They want the sex because they think that that's what's going to
Mm-hmm.
keep the man.
Mm-hmm.
If that gets in the way and there are no expectations and boundaries, do you believe that pretty much do you believe that pretty much
If there's no
Can you back
expectations,
can you back up after that's happened and then start setting boundaries and expectations? And I guess that's what I'm trying to ask, because once that's
once you
implemented
give
and
it
we've
up,
had sex, it just kind of sometimes it tends to mess up moving forward.
yeah.
Because it's hard to have talking about you setting boundaries and expectations, and I just met you and we had sex, and you trying to say you want me to wife you later. See, that doesn't go together. Not to me. So what do you think?
No, I think that I listen. I think on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
because we know that there's several reasons why people relationships don't work,
Right.
and we know that communication is one.
Mm-hmm.
We know that finances are another,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we know that sex is one of those as well.
Correct.
And so here's a challenge. Here's a dance that you have to do, and it's a personal thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you want to know that you're gonna wait and then find out the sex is bad.
So you want to test drive the car first.
Yeah, you might want to see what. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying you might want to know early. What's under the hood.
All right.
Yeah, we dealing with we're dealing with a 2-cylinder. We're dealing with an 8-cylinder engine size.
Okay. So so for a man, if a woman is like, hey, she went all in first night and you didn't like it, but she really likes you. But
Who
she
didn't really
has
like it?
you as a man, not you personally, but the
No, I'm saying
man didn't.
it was trash.
Yeah. And so having said that, but she likes you, and however, you really see that this woman, even though she did that, I don't know how it's good. I don't know how you can be a quality woman and that happens first. But nevertheless, it's
Oh,
it's happened. I'm no judgment. But what if she has the other qualities that you actually like?
hmm
How much is that going to impact your decision on being with this woman?
you really have to. This is where communication and just conversation has to come in, and just energy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's say that first night it was trash,
Okay.
right? And maybe one of the parties was nervous, or who knows, whatever happened. But you
Okay.
really, really like the person,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a real solid connection, and you're willing to invest, right? Which is why we say, hey, how much time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because time you can't get back.
Right.
Are you willing to invest time? And it's not just about the sex. It's about everything. Maybe their finances aren't where they need to be. Maybe they're early in their career and they don't have all of the stuff together, but you're willing to invest some time.
Mm-hmm.
So those are conversations that need to be had up
Okay.
front. So that's why we say, how do things start?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if it's like, hey man, this is what I got going on. Hey, here's my situation. I'm working through this. I'm dealing with that. And all of that is, laid out up front,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you're not being an imposter. You're not pretending, you're not pump faking or whatever about you got all this going on, but then you find out that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's on both sides. I think that's going to determine, and we're talking about why he won't wife you. Just come as your authentic self up front.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're genuine and if you're authentic and if you're being real and honest about where you are, what you like, what you don't like, what concerns you have, I think that gives him comfort in knowing, okay, well, she's being solid with me and
Okay.
being real, regardless of whether or not, we had sex early in the process or
Mm-hmm.
not, because I'm dealing with a solid woman. So if you're not being that, if you're being pretentious, if it's always about, what he can do for you, and you're expecting him to invest, hundreds and thousands, and we just got together like this weekend, and like you want me to fly you, yeah, what are we doing? We ain't even spent no time together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a red flag to me. Like, wait a minute, you own something else right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
And listen, and it might be fun, and I might play the game, but I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I ain't never committing to that. I
Woo.
already see what this is about. I
Okay.
see where this is going.
Okay, so that part right there. So you see where it's going and you see the red flags. And as women, when we see red flags,
Mm-hmm.
there's a tendency to run the red light. We see it, but I really like this guy. I know that, he's ghosted me a couple of times. I know this has happened and that's happened. And so now you find yourself in a situation where this guy is not really feeling you like that, but you press in. And so and you're dating. Because now I want to just say these two are dating.
Right.
But there are some red flags.
Right.
Now, can we shift for 1 second here?
Yeah.
Let's just take let's just say this. You have a couple, they're dating, and he has not wifed her up yet.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even talked about it, and when she's wants to discuss it, it's kind of met with resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, and what I've heard, again, word on the street, is that women don't listen.
Mm.
Okay? So, are you listening to him? How do you think that's a big deal for a woman not to be able to listen to a man? One that she's dating.
I'll speak from a male perspective. If you
Mhm.
have a woman and you're even considering like long-term relationship, marriage, or what have you, which should be the end goal,
Right.
and you already know in this relationship presently
Mm-hmm.
that my word doesn't carry any weight, what I'm saying doesn't, you're not moved by that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't lead, or not that I can't lead, but you won't allow me to
Right.
take the lead.
Right.
Then yeah, that's going to be a red flag for me, because again, before I wife you,
Mm-hmm.
you're showing me how you're going to operate right now.
Mm.
And I hear women say, well, you don't get the wifey until you wife me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
But the expectation is that I'm giving you all the husband energy
Correct.
before we marry. You
Correct.
expect me to provide, take care of
Ooh.
everything, all of that. Because I think on your episode, y'all talked about the 50-50 thing.
Right.
Right. And it's like, but the expectation is that the man does all the man things, all the husband things, but you holding off on the wifey things.
Right. Ooh.
So yeah, no, if you're not listening to me as a man, and you're not, and again, I'm not talking about some overbearing, narcissistic, control freak. I'm just saying I'm the good man, and he's trying to provide, leadership.
Right.
Hey, you know what? We can't really do this right now. Hey, let's move this way, not that way. You know what? We can't really take this trip right now because we're trying to save up for X. Or you know what? We can't spend like that because we're trying to. And you're ordering stuff and having it put in your trunk so that you can't see. But like, I'm looking in your closet, I see you done ordered all of this extra stuff, killing the pocketbook.
Right.
So now you're not listening. So that's gonna be a red flag.
So what, because I've heard women say, he's immature and I can't listen to him, but yet, and here's, I guess, where the problem lies. We're saying that as women, that I don't listen because he's immature and he's going to have to grow up. Yet there is a tendency 9 times out of 10 to remain in the relationship because I've spent time with this person. I don't want to start over, which is a lot of women's story. I stay because it's difficult out here to actually find someone. So they stay the course of the dating process, hoping to get married. But yet You're not mature enough, and I won't listen to you. Though that's all bad, all bad. But this is what some women are saying, but yet they remain. I see that as a problem.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying like at from a male perspective, a man,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just saw another video about male versus man, but being a man, yeah, I'll tell you, man, you need to step up, be responsible,
Right.
lead accordingly, because I wouldn't expect a woman to follow someone's lead and they're not truly lead. I'm too big on leadership
Right.
for someone not to know how to effectively lead and
Right.
expect somebody to follow you. Because the truth of the matter is, having a strong woman
Mm-hmm.
with you, a supportive woman, and we'll
Right.
get into some of those other things, is necessary for, I believe, a man to achieve his greatest success.
Mm.
And I believe, likewise, a
Yes.
woman, you can be successful,
Right.
but then being able to enjoy that success with someone and share it with someone,
Mm-hmm.
that becomes a challenge. And I think that's kind of goes into our next question. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, no, men, you need to step up and lead, and women allowing that man to lead and helping him lead. And sometimes it's Jedi mind trick stuff. Because you could be leading, but letting him think that he's leading,
Right.
right?
Right.
Sometimes we're simple like that. You can let it be, make him think it's his idea,
Mm-hmm.
but you thought about this 2 weeks ago. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
But that's good. That's good women do that, and because you're just trying to keep peace and you're trying to keep the order of things of
right,
allowing that man to lead and think that he just actually came up with it and you okay. I
keeping
really
his
I
manhood, his
I really
dignity.
honor and respect women that actually do that, because you don't always have to be right, and what you're doing is building your guy up. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
So did you compromise your core values? And I'm going to say this for women. If in fact you have core values, your core values could be trust, and it could be commitment. Um, it could be, oh, well, let's just stick with those. Let's stick with those two. If those are crossed and you keep moving in the relationship, it's not going to necessarily work, because those are your hardcore beliefs. Just like the religious beliefs, hey, they believe what they believe and they're not going aside of that. And they'll stay and stick with you for a minute, but it's not going to work, because that part of you is like it it's a separation now. It's like I'm fighting with myself. I want this person so bad that I'm willing to neglect what I actually believe. That's not going to work. So,
Yeah,
I
you can, let
sticking
me
to
just
those
say this,
core
that,
values are great.
and you can only do that for so long,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because like you said, there's going to be an internal conflict, and then from that, resentment's going to build up,
Mm-hmm.
and this is on both ends,
Right.
right? If again, going back to the question, why won't he wife you? And if this is going on and he's been emasculated, his manhood is being questioned,
Mm.
you're not really following his lead, you are tearing him down
Mm-hmm.
as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, the resentment is going to build, and then looking outside to get those things
Mm-hmm.
ultimately is going to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to wife someone unless they did both just toxic and they just ugh.
Right.
But he's not going to wife that.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not. He'll
And
deal
and
with
we're
it.
and we're talking about a quality man here. Is not going is I mean, I just, because that's the, again, allegedly the word on the street, there are no quality, but I want to talk about a quality man.
Mhm.
And you possibly might not be dating a quality woman.
Mhm.
Okay? So, okay, well, let me flow into this next question. Sometimes we hear all the time, hey, I'm a boss, I'm a boss, I'm a boss, I'm a boss, I'm a boss. And women often, now, I mean, hey, I respect women that are on their money game. You're out here making it happen. But my question is, what happened when you have what you need? You want a spouse, you want a quality man, but your independence is pushing everybody away. It's, you meet somebody, but then it's like, because this is what women that are bossed up are saying, they're intimidated by me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, is it intimidation, or is it that you've presented yourself in such a way that the man thinks that he's not needed? And my other question, you're independent, and independence is great. And you don't need his money because you have your own. But my question is, what about emotional support? Is that needed? Can he offer that, or you got that too? Because when a man doesn't feel needed, because I'm just asking, do men need to feel needed?
Yeah, 100%. And I think Webby and Boozy can take some of the blame for this.
Who can?
Webby and Boozy.
Oh, those.
INDEP.
Okay, all right, I got you.
She got her own house. She got her own car.
Okay, so
she's a bad broad. So,
well, wait a minute. Before you move on, because I want you to really speak into this, but I want to give a definition of independent. Okay, not relying on another or others for aid or support, rejecting others' aid or support, refusing to be under obligation to others. So when we say we're independent women, I'm just saying that's the definition. So you're automatically saying, I want you, but I don't need you.
yeah, you know what's funny? Like that seems to be only in our community where this is
an issue,
a thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I don't see in other races and nationalities where the women are talking about being a boss and being independent and not needing their man. Like you rarely hear that, but that's only in our community. That's something that seems to be unique to us, and a part of that has to do with our plight. If you go back into the late 60s, 70s, the separation and the breakup of the Black family, where the man was, pretty much incented to be out of the home, so that the woman can get aid and support. The incarceration of Black men, the villainization of Black men, and this has been over decades that the Black man has been presented in this way, right? And so women having to step up and in many cases be the head of the homes, right? Head of household.
Right.
So single mother raising
Right.
3-4 kids. And then now we're talking about a couple of generations ago.
Right.
So then you get into millennials and Gen Y and the rest of them. That's what they saw.
Right.
They just saw their mom, their aunt, their older sister, whomever, getting it on their own.
Correct.
So the Black women are the most educated, highly intelligent, earnings, right? We're still below in terms of the, white men and white women in terms of our earnings, but Black women out earning Black men in many respects.
Right.
So now the whole dynamic changes.
Right.
So when you add on top of that, women are bossed up, or, I have all brothers or uncles. So I'm moving like my older brothers and uncles, and I'm moving like a dude in terms of taking care of business. Well, yeah, that creates, it's not an intimidation thing, but listen, if you got it and you don't need me, then guess what? What am I here for? Well,
Right.
Yeah, man needs to be needed.
Right.
That's how we're built. That's how we're designed. So the minute you tell me that you don't need me, then why wife
Why would
that? No, you're good. I'm gonna
exactly.
let you have that.
Exactly. And that is my only if I could make a suggestion just for women that are independent, you stay there. You keep getting your
Nothing wrong
money.
with that.
Absolutely not. But I would definitely say, or let me say this, if you could hear this, men need to be needed. There's somewhere. Find out where he fits in your life and what he can do. And I also think that it's okay that a man doesn't make as much as a woman, if that's okay between both parties. Now, if you got a problem with that, hey, to each his own. But you could have a quality man and let him pass by, and you end up by yourself because you don't feel like that there are any needs he can meet of yours. Everybody has a place in their life that they have a need that needs to be met.
So let me say this.
Okay.
Men need to be needed,
Mm-hmm.
but men don't like needy women.
Oh, it's a difference.
There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be needed,
Right.
but we don't like needy women.
Right.
So the polar opposites of that is I'm not gonna wife just an overly needy woman either. Like you can't operate. So it's kind of like you want that level of independence, but that independence should be coupled with respecting the relationship
Right.
and the man too, right? I don't need you to depend on me for everything.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? And so women that are resting also in their femininity,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
You can be a boss and all that corporate exec, you can do all those things. But are you resting in your femininity or you're leaning into masculinity?
Yes. Which can often look like
It
competition.
looks like competition.
Yes. To the man. That's what I'm saying. Your mask. I mean, because we have both. People argue this, but men have a feminine side
Yeah.
and obviously masculine, and women as well. We have both. We're born from a woman and a man. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So, but men like women to rest in their femininity, from what I understand.
Yes.
Because if I'm bringing up the masculine energy, it can sometimes seem challenging, especially.
No, I mean, here's the deal.
Okay.
It's a put off to me, like
Okay.
challenging, because I'm
Yeah.
not gonna listen. I'm not gonna compete with my woman about who's the most masculine.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have no swinging contests in here because there's only one in here. You know what I mean? So we're not doing that. So I'm not gonna compete with you about who's the man.
Right. Right.
And so I think that's part of it. And I want to say this too,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
It's also having, because there's two things, right? You're bossed up because you didn't really have a father around and you've seen and you had to make it.
Right.
Respect that.
Very much
Respect
so.
it. Like
Very much so.
I love seeing my sisters out there grinding, hustling, building, the businesses and creating space and having platforms. I love all of that.
Yes.
Never intimidated by that. A successful woman.
Right.
Never intimidated by that. Now, a real, and I'll say this because there's a difference in terms of the man. You got alpha man, you've got beta man, and sometimes if you're not really strong in your masculinity and your position as a man, and you're subjugated, then yeah, you might be intimidated by that.
Yeah.
But real men, or quality men, if you want to call them that,
Right.
okay with that. Like I'm not intimidated by you because you got, you're bossed up, you're executive, whatever the case may be.
Because it's ours. I just look at it. It's ours.
Yeah.
So if I'm making much more than you, that's ours. And here's the other thing that I think, as women, we can't make our men feel a certain way. You have it. They don't have it like you. And when something happens, you like, this is my money anyway. Okay, now is where in lies the problem.
So I think the challenge is that we oftentimes equate and regulate that just to the money. It's always about
It's always about money.
And it's always, well, I'm making the most. What that's not That's not what it's about,
No.
right? Well, I'm out here, going to get, or I'm the breadwinner.
Right.
Let's use this example.
Okay.
So we love looking at, National Geographic and the thing,
Yes.
like big cats,
The lions.
the lion
Love
and the
them.
lionesses, and I love because they're apex hunters.
Yes.
Right. Cats are, we used to have 2 Bengal cats, but we had to let them go back to their original owner. But when you think about that pride,
Mm-hmm.
and you think about the head of that pride,
Mm-hmm.
those lionesses are the ones that are out there getting it.
Yes.
They're out there hunting because they have to
Yes.
feed the pride.
Correct.
This is the natural order,
Right.
right?
Right.
So the lionesses, she's out hunting. She's taking care of the pride. She would defend that pride, defend those cubs
To her death.
To the death, right? But she's out there working,
Right. Right.
hunting,
Yes.
right? Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
But that lion
Mm-hmm.
is still the king of the jungle and the king of that pride.
Correct.
So, but when he comes around,
Oh, well,
Go ahead.
Let me take it. Let me take it from there.
yeah,
So when the lioness, the alpha female that leads the pride, they've made the kill. Everybody understands. They move back after the kill and they let the lion, the head of the pride, eat first. Even the cubs know. And when they get out of line and they come over, that lion will give a roar to say, hey, get yourself back together, get in order. Or he'll make a decision to say, I'm gonna go ahead and let you eat. But everybody knows the order. And it's amazing to me how we have an innate ability just like lions, but we have allowed things that we've seen and experiences that we've had to remove that innate ability because we may feel something, we like, I don't like that feeling. This is what I want to do. But your intuition is telling you, well, this is the order. Hey, don't say that to your man. Pull back. Don't do this. Don't do that. And we're like, nah, and we go against the whole order.
it's suppressed.
It is suppressed.
You suppress that.
Yes.
You know what the order is. But because you're in your masculinity,
Yes.
you don't like the order.
Correct.
And so you go against that.
You don't like the challenge.
You don't like the challenge. You don't like that, hey, I went out and just imagine if the lionesses went out and said, no, I made this kill.
So you're not gonna eat.
Yeah, me and my babies about to eat. You sit over there.
Right.
That's emasculating.
Oh, it is. It is.
You know what I'm saying? And so when you think about why a man won't wife, if you're treating him like that, and that's the position. And again, I want to be clear about something. This is not knocking women. Men, you need to step up and command the position. You need to be in a space where you understand your position.
Right.
And you operate out of that. And oftentimes I see too many men, especially over these last a couple of generations, abdicating that responsibility. Now, she at work and I work in office. How many times have I seen, the woman being dropped off at the office and the dude is going back home to play video games or whatever he's doing.
Right.
I just I don't co-sign that at all.
Well, and I'm gonna be very honest about what.
Don't respect it.
No, I don't, and for the woman to open herself up to that and let that continue on, because there's a difference. It's a difference if you are a woman, you met this guy, he had a job, because different scenarios happen, but let's just take this one. He had a job, he lost it. There should be a certain amount of time that you and your significant other sit down and say, hey, well, by this time, 90 days, y'all, at least by 90 days. And if he is not or hasn't found a job within that period of time, we need to have a discussion, because to drop you off at work and he goes home and plays video games is very immature, and that is just a red flag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, um, no, that's not cool at all.
I wonder, and you tell me what you think about this, but I wonder, do women know what the role of those that are dating? Do they know what the role of a wife is? And do men that are dating, do they know what the role of a husband is? And, have they studied that?
Mm-hmm.
And because to me, I think that some people want to be wifed up and all of this, but they don't even know how a wife moves.
Mm-hmm.
They don't market themselves as somebody who wants to be a wife. They market themselves as girlfriend material. Those are two different things.
But yeah, the problem is what is being projected out there in society. Like it's not being displayed.
Okay, so
You don't really see that.
but here's the other problem. Why are we allowing social media to be our mothers and fathers? And you're seeing, okay, I should go get a BBL. I should go get the biggest breast because we're wanting attention, but that's not the best attention. And is it true? I'm just saying from a male perspective. Is that what men really want? Because women are thinking that's what men really want.
No,
The
I mean,
biggest butt and the largest breast.
listen, that is good to play with for a while,
Oh,
but that is not a prerequisite for wifey material.
mm.
That's I'm not knocking if you got that done. I'm not knocking. I'm just simply saying that in and of itself
We don't have a
does
show
not
that we
does not
condemn or judge.
yeah
We're
that
just
you would
speaking
that
facts.
qualifies. Yeah, go make enhancements. Do what you feel that you need to do for you. It's your body, your choice. You can do whatever. I'm simply saying, if you're doing that, thinking that that's
the way.
that's the way, then I'm just saying there's no guarantees for that.
It is not, because
So,
it's still, I said this before, there are some girls out here with bad bodies that still have no body
oh
and
my
will
God,
not. So,
bad bodies with no body.
mhm.
One other thing, on like when women have my daddy would do it attitudes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've had to say this to my daughter a couple of times about don't they're young. I mean, they're 20s or
Correct.
whatever.
Correct.
But when I hear it, it's like, nah, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna call my dad and he'll fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you give him a chance to try to fix it?
Right. Right.
But it goes back to what I said earlier. Young brothers, you need to learn how to be a man.
Right.
And
Right.
so sometimes a lot of women they lean on their dad because he's been there.
Right.
So that's one big thing. One other point. We
Okay.
got a few more minutes. Is the woman nurturing and catering?
Big deal.
Big deal. What does that mean?
Big deal. Okay. So nurturing, and I'm going back to that innate thing that's been placed in women to be nurturers, and not all women are nurturers because we've gone through different traumas. So this is not for all women, but most women are nurturing. When you have a man that has mommy issues, I don't really care how nurturing you may you may be. It's sometimes going to be rejected, okay? Because he has mommy issues. Mommy did something and that trauma's still there. So no matter what you do. But for a man that has had a mother and you are, extending those qualities, it's very welcoming. Catering, you need to know how your man wants to be catered to, because just to give him anything, again, I said this on one of our other podcasts, if he wants fellatio and you're talking about no, and that's what he desires, because we went over the definition of
Right.
catering. What a person's preference and desires and needs are, that's what you want to meet.
Right.
So it's very important for a woman that wants to be wifed up. You need to study your man. You need to ask all the questions, babe. How do you like to be catered? Do you find any nurturing qualities within me, and how does that make you feel?
No, I think it's you're spot on with that because oftentimes it's no, take what I give you,
Right.
or you should like this,
Mm-hmm.
or you know, I fold all your clothes. Well, if that ain't what he really cares about, then none of that
None of
matters
it matters.
to him. Y'all need to talk about what he likes
Right.
or what she likes, right?
Right.
We're talking about
Correct.
the woman right now,
Correct.
but both ways. So what he or what she likes,
Mm-hmm.
what's her love language? What's his love language,
Mm-hmm.
right? If it's touch, if it's gifts and surprises, whatever it is, find out what the other person's desires, likes, and preferences are, and then cater to that.
Right. Right.
And again, there's always balance in everything that we say. There's always balance in that,
Correct.
right? So we're not talking about going overboard one way or the other,
Mm-hmm.
right? To where you're compromising your own integrity, your own core values,
Correct.
your own belief systems,
Or even losing
or
yourself in
losing
those
yourself,
things. Yes.
right? I think I made this comment that oftentimes people lose themselves in a marriage, and I get that when you get married, you become one. But you and I talked about this a few weeks ago. Is that we're one in many respects, but we still have our own identities.
Individuality. Right.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so I've got to maintain a sensitivity that you're not just all wrapped up in me.
Right.
You're still you.
Right.
And I think if we respect that, and we respect that as we evolve and as we change over time, then we can grow.
Right.
But if we don't do that, then we will find ourselves stuck
Right. Right. And lost in the other person.
and lost in the
And
other
you will have
person.
lost your identity.
And then you're 45 years old trying to figure out what the hell happened, and you've been in this thing 10 years.
Correct.
You haven't chased any dreams. You haven't pursued any, new skills.
Mm-hmm.
You've just so been enthroned in the marriage, which is good, but
It can be
you gotta
very
be there
that
gotta
can
be
be
balance.
unhealthy. Yes.
It can be unhealthy.
Yes, it can.
And so we were going back to why won't he wife you? Well, you can close on this, but
Okay.
I'm going to say it's one or two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Either there's something being presented that doesn't align with wife material, whatever that is, you got to figure that out.
Correct.
Or he's just not the one for you.
Yeah.
He won't wife you because he's not the one for you.
I believe that. And so
He's not the one that should be proposing to you.
yes.
And you've got to be willing to say, you know what? I got to accept that maybe as much as I love him, as much as I desire him, maybe he's just not the one.
Right.
What would you say?
I would say after that period of time that you and I talked about marriage and there's still no proposal, I think it's time to move on.
Okay.
That's just what I think, because you can't get time back. You can't get it back.
You cannot.
So that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, you want
All
to close
right.
us out?
So I want to first thank you guys for subscribing, following us, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube. I just want to say that we are so appreciative of our tribe. Continue to subscribe, share, and like. Until next time.
It's been Balcony Talk with the
Peace.
Nelsons, Love and Truth Podcast. Peace.